Hello everyone. Recently I took Mannadium to locals again. It was actually back-to-back locals. So I first went to like my own locals that I usually attend to, and then on another day I traveled to another locals. In the first locals I went 4-0. Round one I won against Memento. Round two against Sword Soul. Round three my opponent was supposed to be a Gladiator Beast player, but he dropped out. I played instead against a White Forest player who arrived late to the tournament. I didn't get to participate in the tournament, but I won that match too. But I got a bye from the tournament basically. Um, then round four, I played against Goblin by Finsmith. All of those I won. Um, but yeah, none of those matches I really dominated. All of them were quite close. Um, then the next day at the other locals, I round one went against Raziel. I lost that match. Round two against Code Talker, which I won. Round three against Mermail, which I lost, and round four against Plant, which I lost. So yeah, basically all the matches that I lost in that tournament were against Troll. Uh, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Um, yeah, I'll just get into the profile now. So first of all, we're of course on the 3-room heart. Still 3 Reichardt. I was trying this at 2, but it felt quite awkward. It's just safer to start with Reichardt than with room heart. And this card it does good for the siding patterns to have 2 that you can side out. Otherwise the siding will be quite awkward. So that's why I'm still on 3 Reichardt. I was considering cutting it, but I did come in the conclusion that it was not worth it. Then 3 Samsara still a pretty good card, allows you to extend and such, of course. And then 1 Rhoda. I don't think I need to explain any of that. Then 3 Meek Steel. In this build, actually, it doesn't really matter which ball you play. Most of the time, you'll just use the level 2. But it's not that rare that you need to use the level modulation, so Meek is still easily the best. And of course, the 2 Visa Starfrost for the planets, running 3 Calarium, 2 Reichphobia, 1 Pearl Rhino, and Terraforming. I tried without Pearl Rhino, but this is a bit of a higher card count build. I'm at 46 right now, so this comes up quite more often since you need to start with just Calarium more often. I tried to cut this to 1-2, but I came to the conclusion that 2 is better because if you get interrupted on turn 1 and don't make full board, it's quite good to have the second one for the follow-up turn, so you can kill the opponent reliably. So yep, that's it for those. Then double Scarecrow arrival, 1 obsession, 1 reframing. I guess you could cut reframing, but since I was quite afraid of these high power combo decks, I just decided to keep it in. Overall, just a good card anyway. Cut obsession to 1 since yep, I'm playing the Azamina engine, and that helps you bridge these Scarecrows into the Mannadium, so you don't need to draw the Mannadium access that often, but you'll still need 1 obsession in case you want to search it to a rival, since if you draw the other, you can search one, and you know what I mean. I've been through this many times. Then for the Azamina engine, we play 1 Witch. I pulled this ulti out of my prize pack from the first tournament. So, bit of a nice trophy from there, I guess. Just 1, because drawing Diabellstar kind of sucks. Since your resources are quite thin, uh, and usually the -1 from this isn't that good. You just prefer so much to draw the wanted, so you can get the draw. It's so much better than drawing the Diabol Star. So just one Diabol Star, just one LZ is basically a brick. It's searchable. It helps sometimes, but you'd rather just open something else off the engine. Then the 3 wanted. Um, as I said, um, this is pretty good because you get the draw out of the Diabol Star even if you don't get your Azamina stuff to fully resolve. So that can help you at playing into boards. Also, this is just a cheaper starter than Deception, so kind of a budget choice there. Then with one Deception, a second one would have come up once, I think, but overall, one is usually enough. That's like the one time out of maybe 50 games I've played, so yeah, it doesn't really come up. Then the one Hallowed, you don't want to play more, it's a brick. Then for the non-engine, I'm on 3 Forbidden Droplet, 3 Talent, 1 Cold Buy. These are quite basic, still pretty good, especially Talent is quite cracked this format. And then I'm playing 3 Ash Blossom for Mult Charmies and Finchmit Requiem. Basically, also it's a solid card overall. Not that good in Mannadium, but I wouldn't play this if Charmies weren't a thing, but yeah, they are, so I need to play those. Then new inclusion 3 Dark Ruler no more in the main deck because of Ryzial. This deck like struggles extremely to go against a single detonator. So you basically need the Dark Rule to shut that down before you do anything else. And since the extra deck is super tight, you don't have the space for stuff like Ultimate Slayer, and this is just more generic than Xyz Encore, so Dark Ruler it is. Excuse me, I'm a bit sick, so please do excuse me. Mm, let's jump into the extra deck now. Starting off with one Arciela, Sinister Soul of the White Forest. This bridges you into the Azamina engine. You basically make this instead of Trisukta, and then pitch Calarium to add the Azamina Alzet. This does have the bad side that it is quite a choke point. If you make this and you don't draw any other Azamina access and you use this effect, yeah, if it gets hand trapped, you basically lose the game. Your endboard's going to suck hard. It kind of sucks, but the Azamina engine otherwise is pretty good. It gets you an Omni Negate, it gets you many bodies. It actually makes one Calarium, like almost full combo through Nib. You end up like changing this pattern, and SP Little Knight minimum through Nibiru, or just end on like yeah, you can also get the Ilia Sylvia or Chaos Angel on the board depending on at which point your opponent nips you. But yeah, the Azamina engine is very strong in this deck, and I would dare say it feels the most like when Baron was still legal. So yeah, it's definitely quite good for the deck. On the other side though, it is quite a heavy engine. It does take like 7 main deck spots, I think, but it's probably worth it in this deck. Then next, one Visas Amritara, one Axel, one Dispatter, one Chengying, one Chaos Angel. I finally upgraded this to Prismatic, so now I have no regular secrets left in the extra deck. That's pretty cool. And one Crimson Dragon. I cut Trisukta for this. It was basically a question whether I would cut this or Trisukta, and I felt like this came up more often than Destructa would. So yep, that's it for those ratios. Then still on double light heart, crucial for playing through interruption. Crush sheep, still cracked in this deck, bring back Meek, and SP for the end board. Then, of course, double Astrolaud. Then one Muarshalago. This is, some people are cutting this in Azamina Mannadium. I would not recommend this since, I would not recommend cutting this since it's a free body. Uh, and it makes the one card anti-Nibelline possible. And this is also good because if your opponent improves this, you can use visas to pop this and still add from deck to hand. So it's kind of like light hard in a way. That you can just dodge imperm with visas. And then of course Sylvia for the Omni-Negate. The reason why you play this engine without this, it wouldn't be worth it basically. Then for the side deck, 3 Droll, 3 Nib. I was scared of Mermail and Memento, so well, these are good against both. This is good into Memento, I think. I don't know really. But this side deck was like whatever. It rarely came up. But yeah, I played Droll because I was afraid of combo decks. Then of course 3 Trust. Then double Lightning Storm, 1 Duster. I felt like these were pretty good at playing into boards like Blue Eyes, maybe Malice, something like that. So yeah, and then for last 3 cards, the Barrier, DDG, and Scarecrow Twin Saw. This I played because of Memento and Merlantian. I felt like this is kind of necessary to beat those. Like the Barrier does something, but it isn't really enough. If you pass on nothing, which you need to do most of the time if you get rolled or more charmed, you basically need this against those. And Scarecrow Twin Saw was against like other matchup that wouldn't care about these. Basically Malice, since this has the grave effect that if your opponent controls a Link Tree or Hider, if any player controls a Link Tree or Hider, you can banish this and neither player can activate Link effect for the rest of the turn. So yeah, it basically locks the opponent out of links if they're Malice. It's a pretty strong effect against Malice, and also you can add this with your Scarecrow Rykard. Like if you get Fuwad, you can just normal Rykard at this, set it and that's your end board. I mean, yeah, it does really suck, but what you gonna do? Not much you can do about it. Overall, the Azamina engine is a nice little buff to this deck. Well, quite a big buff to this deck, but yeah, you like people at our locals are starting to pick up meta decks again. There's Ryziel, there's Mermail, there's even a Fiendsmith player that's starting to be Mulcharm there, and yeah, I'm definitely starting to notice that Mannadium is starting to be quite outdated. Besides the ban list, of course, of losing Baron, but like modern decks are just stronger. They play more hand traps. They have more counter play against stuff. Also, the meta being Ryziel, which can just basically pop everything you play on site, your hard stats, your field spells. So you lose to that super hard. And also Malice, which ends on 2 non-targeting banishes, is also a very rough matchup. Mermail is super dice rolly. You can't really play any good non-engine against that in the main deck, which like means that Fiendsmith decks, like Fiendsmith control decks, like Fiendsmith Senpai Beast Shell and stuff like that, and Blue Eyes are basically the only favored, or at least somewhat favored matches matchups in the metagame. Of course, the blue eyes has stuff like spheres, so that too is quite strong against Mannadium. But yeah, definitely the deck is starting to feel outdated. Um, so yeah, I'll need to see whether I keep playing this deck or not. I have been looking into other options, since sadly this deck doesn't really feel like it meets my standards anymore. Well, it hasn't really met my standards in a in a good moment. But like I've been just playing locals and stuff, but now that like national season is drawing near, I'm planning to participate in the nationals, and it would be nice to have a deck that could compete there. So yeah, I don't know. It seems quite rough for Mannadium. I probably won't be playing this deck much anymore in the future, but yeah, we'll see. I still love the deck though, so yeah, I can't really say for sure. Yep, thanks you for watching, and see you.